Morning, everybody. We're here again. We're off to a little bit of a late start because life does get in the way sometimes. We were actually doing a media shoot yesterday and some cooking. So we're here Wednesday and we're off to a late start because, as we said, life got in the way. But here we go anyway because it's time for breakfast. So here's what I got today. I'm going to heat up a couple skillets, my cast irons. That one looks a little schmutzy. There we go. And I've got nuclear potatoes. Basically, the baked potato setting on your microwave will work. We want to get these cooked. So these are just regular old potatoes, and we're having home fries today. A little bit more like you might see in a restaurant. So I'm just cutting these up. Now remember, these are fully cooked, so we're just going to crisp them up in our pan today. That's the goal. So while it's heating up, I've got pork chops today for breakfast. Yep, breakfast of champions. So while the skillets are heating up, you notice I got it on a separate board. I'm getting those nice and dry so they won't stick. And we're going to put some salt and pepper on them, of course. I love this olive oil. This is the olive oil I've been using a lot lately. It's a really nice extra virgin olive oil, but it's mild in flavor, so it doesn't overpower everything. Got to be really careful with your olive oils. You can buy really strong stuff and can literally just take over all your food and make everything taste like one thing, and that's heavy duty extra virgin olive oil.
Where do you find that one?
Where do I find it? I get this at Safeway. This is a nice Safeway product, and one of the lines on here is every day. Meaning it's a milder olive oil that's going to go with everything, much nicer and not too strong. I really get uppity about overly strong olive oil. So one pan for the chops, one pan for the potatoes, and away we go. So these are going to go right in here. And as usual, the hardest part of these potatoes right now is to not stir them. Just get some salt and pepper on them. And let them brown up. Same thing with the chops. These are not terribly thick chops. They're going to cook at about 4 minutes a side. So they're just going to go right on in. And we'll get a little seasoning on the other side. I season every side that's going to touch the pan. So when people say, which side do you season? Everyone that touches the pan. Makes life simple. Remember, cooking should be simple. Okay, those guys are off to the races. Our vegetables today, first we have some cauliflower. I'm going to take out a couple of nice florets for that. Cut it nice and thin. And that's going to take longer to cook than the other veggies, so I've got my little omelet pan in the back to get started on those. Once I get that cauliflower really cooking, I'll mix it in with the potatoes and finish the other veggies. But first things first. Florets and all, any loose bits, any shrapnel, all goes in. There you go. Right down to the rice part. But remember, we're not making cauliflower risotto. You don't need to get out a food processor and turn it into little rice. You can if you want. Just one more thing to grab and one more thing to clean. So there we go. We got that program. Dan's little magic bag of vegetable tricks. All my partials are in here from yesterday. So I got a piece of a bell pepper, zucchini, and onion. As usual. If you've been watching this breakfast thing, you know I like peppers and onions. Just say I pretty much have some every day. So, nice chunk of zucchini. Some bell pepper. and a nice chunk of onion. And all this goes right back in the bag for tomorrow. Get in there. Everything cuts in, everything cooks quick. So one of the big parts of this is that olive oil. I will use avocado oil as a good natural healthy oil that has less flavor. Today our flavor is street taco salsa. Squirt bottle from Safeway. It's delicious. And you don't need much. Just squirt it on like you would a little street taco. Okay, so process, salt, the turmeric, the everyday turmeric. This particular turmeric was purchased at Santa Club, and I've been whittling on that for about 2 weeks now. And always remember your pepper with your turmeric. It helps you absorb the nutritional aspects of the turmeric. Now, we're in a pretty good place. So, potatoes are getting some brown on them. You see that? Crispy edge. That's going to give it some crisp. So that's why I didn't want to stir it at first. Make some room. Get cauliflower in there. Now this started. And let's get the rest of our veggies going. And of course, let's turn over those pork chops. We're doing fine. Nice golden brown.
Beautiful.
So just cook them till they got some firmness to them. Breakfast of champions. Pork T-bones. So with the veggies, just season what you see, and you don't have to get carried away. There. We're headed to our happy place. Breakfast. Just turn that down just a notch. And you can feel these are still soft. We're just looking to be firm to the touch. They'll be a nice medium. You might see a hint of pink, but that's it. And I'm also looking to see maybe you can see a tiny bit of the juice coming out of the top, a little bit more juice coming out of the top. Those will be ready to come out. Please remember, I am cooking for 2 people. If you are starting to incorporate this breakfast into your lifestyle, and you are single, or you are only feeding yourself, cut these quantities in half, unless you're training for the Olympics, or the NFL season. Oh yeah, fantasy football, that's right. But I am making food for 2, and you need to remember that. If you are cooking for 2, these are big quantities, but they are healthy quantities. And we always want to emphasize lots of veggies. That's the secret. And of course, the power greens are ready and warming up in the bullpen. Pork chops are starting to get firm. They would be medium rare right now, which of course we don't want to serve them that way. And I've mentioned this before in this broadcast, but I do know that turmeric tends to absorb some of the olive oil. So every time I'm sauteing with turmeric, I'm a little more generous with the olive oil than usual. One of those things that I just learned along the way, I'm happy to share. Bottom line is, everything I know about cooking, I'm happy to share. That's what I do for a living. And I know quite a bit. Do I know everything? Sometimes I think I forgot more than I remember. But years in the trenches. There, our onions are starting to change color a little bit. The zucchini's starting to soften up. That's just a moment or 2 away. Everything's come together like a good plan should.
Most people overcook pork. What do you like to tell them about it?
Medium. There's some firmness. I can't really dent that anymore. I see a little bit of juice coming out of the top. That's done. That's it. There is no more trichinosis in the United States. That is what was the disease in pork. It's literally been worked out of the system. I have that on good authority from the medical community. So you can eat your pork medium. You can even eat pork tartare. Nobody would, but you could. Switching pans to get ready for my eggs. And of course, what's wrong with a little pork grease in there too? And those vegetables are just about ready for our greens. Okay. I guess you could feed 3 people with this today. But this meal gets me through the entire day. I will generally not be hungry until 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. This meal really carries, packed with nutrition. Now, that burner is on very low, and that's when I add the greens. And I always add the greens just before my eggs go down. A little bit of butter. Jody, you can have your eggs any way you like as long as they're over medium. Kind of like Ford in the color of the cars.
My favorite.
So I'm doing a little KP as we go along here. And when the eggs go down, it's time to start plating up. Now, a little pan juggling is already done, so these are getting promoted. Bigger burners in the front. Why can't they make them all the same size? What is up with that?
I've never understood it.
I have never either, but I imagine they just save a little money and say, oh, people don't need all that heat. Well, yeah, they do. But they got a super deal on this stove. It was literally 70% off brand new because it was a floor model. There's our wilted greens. So that's good. So here comes our plating. We're going to start with got our pork chops. We're going to stack today. So the potatoes and cauliflower go on the bottom. I know what you're saying. You're looking at it going, that looks like a meal all by itself. Yeah, I know. Our veggies go on top of that. As equally divided as my skills will allow. Jody, I'm going to let you put on your own salsa. You can put it under or over your eggs. She's an under girl. I love that about her. And there is breakfast. Guys, I'm going to make mine now. Thanks for tuning in. This will be running all day. And start thinking about getting this going in your regular routine. All you have to do to have a huge, delicious, healthy breakfast that moves you through the whole day is wake up a half hour earlier. Small price to pay for a lot of energy. See you all next week. Thanks.